Let me introduce you to story puzzles for right now. So everybody here's a cup of chamomile, and here's a piece of cake. Sit back, and I'm going to tell you a story. Story time! Once upon a time, there was a value. There was something given. One day, we did operations. In the end, there was a solution, and everyone lived happily ever after. The end. Yay! What a lovely story. The reason I do this, and I know it's silly, but we remember it's silly. Most stories have this structure, at least fairy tales. I'm kind of talking about Grimm's fairy tales. There are different ones in other cultures, but I'm most familiar, and so that's what I'm sharing. There's almost always a beginning, like a setting, once upon a time. There's a who and a where. It's all the stuff that they give you at the beginning. Who, where, when. And then this is one day, and this is where all the action happens. And in the ending, they live happily ever after. And most word problems have a similar structure. That's why I call them not word problems. It's not just words. It's a story. And it's not just problems. It's a puzzle. It's not a problem. We're figuring stuff out. It's fun. All right? So, in the beginning, we have the given, what's given to us. And then in the middle, one day, we have operations. We have equations. We solve, okay? We compare. We do all the fun things that we do to manipulate the numbers, do what we can. And in the end, we have a solution. We also need to check it to make sure they are living happily forever after. Okay, you need to make sure, are you answering the question? And is the answer you came up with, is it reasonable or is it way off? So I would recommend taking this down as notes, taking a screenshot, whatever you need to do. This is the 5-step problem solving from the course and then kind of adapted from this case. I say it a little bit differently because I like looking for clues. Looking for clues! That's so much more fun than identify. We're going to look for values. We're going to look for clues, like keywords and stuff. Then we're going to strategize. We're going to translate those keywords and clues from English to math. Okay, so we'll have variable phrase. Exactly. It is like a mystery novel. We're going to have variable phrases like expressions, right? And we're going to have, or there's also terms. We'll learn about terms later. And we're going to have sentences. We know what sentences are. We know they're equations or inequalities. Sometimes also we need to draw a sketch. I like to draw sketches because I have a hard time visualizing things. So I put it on paper. I draw a little picture, quick one. It's a sketch. It's not a work of art. It's not a masterpiece. Just to get my head around my strategy or how am I going to translate it. If I draw it, I can see, am I combining or separating? That's where I start. Then the next thing is setting it up, and that's writing these values, these expressions, these terms, these equalities or inequalities, okay? Then we solve. And solve includes substituting values, simplifying, and also I should have put operations on here. It should be operations as well. Doing operations. Okay. Well, I guess that's simplifying. Simplifying is doing the operations, order of operations. Anyway, then we check. Then we check. We make sure we're answering the question. So I'm going to be using mine. I'm going to be using my little thing here that I like to use. Let me do that. This is what I'm going to be referring to, but you can also refer to what the course curriculum.